Hi Foundations class, this is Virginia May Warwick coming to you from my apartment. Um, so for the next project, which is the texture project, we're going to be experimenting with what's called actual texture in comparison to simulated or implied texture. Actual texture is when you see a texture like on a collage or assemblage piece, and you interpret it as what it really is. So for instance, I'll put some examples on Blackboard, but assemblage would be an example of actual texture because it's something that's coming off the page like in a 3D format. So what we're going to do for this texture project is use tracing paper, which you should have, or if you don't have tracing paper, you can always order it on Amazon. If you don't, and if you can't get a hold of any tracing paper, the other option might be maybe some parchment paper. Yeah, so you'll need tracing paper, you'll need a palette, India ink, water, matte medium, or a glue stick. And if you're using matte medium, you'll need a brush. So, but the first step is to learn how to use India ink. And for this project, what we're going to be doing is combining mediums of India ink and transforming the tracing paper as the actual texture. So the first step for your assignment is to understand how India ink works. And so first, I'm gonna, in your sketchbooks, the first step of this assignment is to do a value scale. And we've done value scales with line work before, but we're going to do a value scale with ink. So I made a rectangle, and you'll separate it into about 7 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Into 7 blocks. And then you're going to take your India ink and put it in one of the wells. And I'm telling you, a little bit of ink goes a long way, and you're going to find that out real quick. And then I'm going to take some of my water and put it in the center of my little well. And then on the perimeter, see, I put some plastic on this table because I'm clumsy. No, I'm not. Okay. And then what you'll do is, with your brush, you're going to dip that brush into that India ink just a tiny bit. And you can see that there's the brush soaked up that ink pretty well. And then you're going to put that ink into one of the wells. And so you're going to start from light to dark, or low key value, or high key value to the low key value. And when I say high key value, that means the lightest value on a value scale. So I have a high key value here, a lighter value, and I'm going to leave this square blank and fill this square in with a little bit of the India ink. And I leave this square blank because the white of the paper is considered a value. Then I'm going to dip, see how that soaked up the ink so quickly? So I'm going to dip that into the same well. And you have the next value. And then I'll dip again. And you have a darker value. That's the idea. You keep dipping and adding to the same well. And a little more. And then the last value, the low key value, is just pure black of the India ink. So that's the first step you need to do in your sketchbook. And then you can play around with the India ink. You know, experiment with the India ink, maybe put a wash down. And very important, what you need to concentrate on is doing light to dark when you do the India ink. Light to dark, because the problem is, if, for instance, if you put down a dark wash and then you want to backtrack, you can't. So that's why you go from light or low key values to, from high key values, I get those mixed up. From high key values to low key values. Let's see, low, oh, whoops, I can't do it in high. High key values, low key values. And then India ink acts very differently from watercolor, which if you've experimented with watercolor, you still see the difference. So then you can layer the dark onto the light. And also, you'll probably find this out, once you put a layer down, it doesn't bleed. It doesn't bleed together like watercolors do. They kind of layer on top of each other. So do a little experimenting in your sketchbook, and that's your first step. So this is video number 1. Next step, we're going to go to the big project with the tracing paper. So I'm signing off on this video, and I'll see you on next video.